When I told people I was going to Myanmar, the two most often asked questions were, what's Myanmar and where is that again? Saying Burma didn't really answer the question any more clearly. And that's pretty much how it was here for decades. The military government kept outsiders out, and the rest of the world didn't know much about this place, other than it seemed foreign, exotic, and oppressive. But the doors have opened now, things are changing fast, and pretty soon you won't need a map to explain Myanmar any longer. This is Yangon. Reaching for Google again? Think Rangoon. That's what it was called in the Burma days, the British colonial days. The names may have changed, but many of the buildings are the same, although in pretty rough shape now. Yangon used to be the political capital of the country. Today, it's the economic capital. Big-name multinationals have moved in, electronic companies, hotels, fast food chains. But this is still Southeast Asia, and bamboo scaffolding is as good as anything to help build the modern Myanmar. Forget the fast food, though. The sidewalks are where it's at when you're looking for a good lunch.
Is it good?
Good.
Whether it's fresh fruit to go, or a proper sit-down on a tiny plastic stool kind of lunch. There's a lot to take in here. Food, traffic, people, rubber ducks, and monks. Monks texting, monks buying lottery tickets, monks on a bus. I gotta follow these monks. This is a Buddhist country, and the majestic Shwedagon Pagoda is its most important shrine. Superstitions abound in Myanmar. It's said the capital was moved from Yangon to Naypyidaw at 6:37 a.m. on November 6, 2005, because it was an astrologically auspicious time. Consulting the supernatural is a way of life here.
Someone sold these to me outside. I assume I'm supposed to give them as an offering inside. We're in the eastern staircase of the Shwedagon Pagoda, which, according to the guidebooks, is 118 steps to the top, which I think is where we meet Buddha. It's 118 steps and dozens of vendors, which will sell you just about anything.
Most of our Buddhist couple, when they want to have a baby, they come here with their offertories, whether baby boy or baby girl. When they want to have a baby boy, they pray at that side.
On that side,
They want to have a baby girl holding a lotus flower from a figure.
Okay.
Yeah.
They look pretty much the same.
Lai Min knows Shwedagon like the back of his hand. Or he's just a very convincing guide. Either way, he's full of entertaining stories and insight into your destiny, depending on the day of the week you were born, which in my case was a Thursday.
You're a kind-hearted person.
I'm kind-hearted.
Yeah.
Well, okay.
You are kind as a people among 18.
I'm kind, but will I have good business?
Yes.
Now in the Western zodiac, I'm a Leo. In the lunar calendar, I'm a tiger. So what kind of spirit animal does Thursday get me here in Myanmar?
My animal's what?
It's smaller than mole.
Smaller than mole.
Yeah.
Like a gopher? I don't know. A mole?
Rat.
It's a rat. My animal's a rat?
Yes.
All right. Well, rats are, you know what? Rats are industrious.
What?
This is what the flowers are for. That's what the flowers are for.
Listen, pay attention to the four Buddhas who are visiting this world.
I offer these beautiful, very clean flowers now to the 4 Buddhas who I have just met tonight. Spreading my love and kindness to my spirit animal, the rat.
Traffic in Yangon is, let's say, an adventure. Don't worry too much about the lanes, they're just suggestions. Just find room for your car to fit in between the other cars. And if you're on foot, watch your feet. It can be like a game of Frogger to get across a street. The best bet is to walk when the locals walk. They seem pretty relaxed about the whole thing. Sometimes the best way to see a place is to hop the train. And not the air-conditioned first-class tourist train, but the one the locals ride. The Yangon Circle train, with the maybe we'll leave on time but don't count on it schedule. It chugs slowly around Greater Yangon in, you guessed it, a circle, around which Myanmar life continues outside the city center. Trackside neighborhoods, pop-up markets at each station, snack sellers in the aisles, Burmese cheeks painted with the traditional tree bark paste that blocks the sun and keeps them looking young. And of course, more monks. Now, riding the train isn't for rookies, but buses. Now there's an adventure.
What is bus fare? That's about 10 cents Canadian.
Bus service in Yangon is part public transit, part musical. What seems at first like choreographed chaos, a pas de trois, the guy who drives, the guy who collects the money, and the guy who beckons the passengers. They all seem to know the steps in this routine, even if it makes no sense to an outsider.
And he fixes things too. He fixes? Yeah, if the bus breaks down. Okay. That makes you more confident.
Linda McDowell is the wife of the former Canadian ambassador to Myanmar, and to this day, she still calls it home. She and her husband first moved here when Canada re-established diplomatic ties with the country. Since then, she's picked up the language and learned to get around just like a local, with some help from, what else? The Yangon bus app.
The bus app is in both Myanmar, Burmese, and English. So foreigners can use the bus now.
Yes, there really is an app for that. That's how far Myanmar has come.
Sampia. That's the name of the stop.
A lot has changed since Linda arrived. Most importantly, the right to tell it like it is, or at least how you see it, especially where the lady is concerned. Known simply as the lady, because just speaking the name Aung San Suu Kyi was enough to get you into trouble. Years spent under house arrest behind this gate. She was the leader of the democracy movement in Myanmar. And finally, in 2010, she was released. And that's when things really got rolling.
Yeah, you couldn't even never see any of her photos in the street.
Aung San Suu Kyi.
No, yeah, you couldn't even talk about her in public. When I first came, that was 10 years ago, less than 10 years ago.
And now you see her.
And now it's completely different. And when you look at the newspaper stand, 2 out of 3 paper has something about her, or criticizing the president, or completely new.
That's the way it was here. For nearly 50 years, a military junta ruled the roost. And if the people didn't like it, well, there were many prisons where they could go and rethink their position.
Constitution is very problem in this country.
Shell was one of those political prisoners, 3 times behind bars. Now out, he and his formerly jailed buddies drive taxis and tell their stories of repression.
I think 7,000 people arrested.
In how many years?
In how many years? In different years. In one person, I went 3 times. I arrested in 21st year. I stay into the prison over 14 years. And so many students and so many politicians, and 3 years, 5 years, 7 years, 10 years, in different years. Yeah.
Over and over again.
Yeah.
Would you demonstrate again?
Maybe.
And then you might be arrested again.
Maybe.
Of course, as history has taught us over and over again, power corrupts, and absolute power corrupts absolutely. That's where Myanmar finds itself today, with its brutal treatment of the Rohingya people. Thousands have been killed, while hundreds of thousands of others have fled persecution in Myanmar in what the United Nations calls the world's fastest growing refugee crisis. And the woman once fawned over by the international community, who led her party to a landslide victory and who became the de facto head of government, is now the subject of worldwide condemnation for her inaction. But here in Myanmar, more or less, she is still Dao Su, Mother Su. The nation's people have had a taste of freedom and progress, and they're not about to stop moving forward. In some unexpected ways. Wherever I am, I will find wine. Okay, so it's not exactly the south of France, but there are actually vineyards now in Inle Lake, about an hour flight north of Yangon. The quality, though? Oh, they're working on it.
It's drinkable. It's not bad.
Whatever, I'm not picky. It's wine, and this is my happy place. The fledgling wine industry, just one example of Myanmar's efforts to attract more tourists. Ah, the market. Nothing like a good weekend market to bring travelers together with locals. The locals can go about their shopping, and the travelers can entertain the locals with their feeble attempts at living like a local.
In Myanmar, we say,
So I eat this part?
yeah, why not?
I'm sorry.
This is one of the floating markets of Inle Lake. They move from place to place depending on the day of the week. But like any good market, you get your mix of food, jewelry, crafts, and weirdness.
Do you eat the eye?
If you want to get the feeling of splashing something in your mouth.
That's the eye.
Yeah. Tourism is booming. There's more and more clients, more and more visitors per year by year.
This is where Now Now is from, so he seems like the best bet to show us around the floating villages of Inle Lake,
Now I'm asking, how many kilos do you get today?
where the fishermen perform a graceful ballet as they vie for the day's catch. It's a lovely, serene escape from the city, made popular with Westerners once sanctions were lifted and a certain U.S. president paid a visit here.
Mr. Obama came several times to Myanmar and people watch, oh, Mr. Obama dared to go there. Why don't we go there? 35% of population around the lake are relying on tourism.
35%.
Yeah, 180,000 population, so almost 60,000 people are working in tourism industry.
Oh, okay.
So this is one thing, it's good for local people.
That's good, right? Sure it is, except when there's not enough room for everyone.
As soon as the country was open in 2012, we had a problem with lack of hotel, lack of guide and everything. The shortage.
Because people suddenly decided they
Yeah,
wanted
suddenly wanted to see and came in the same time, in the same high season. So nothing was available there at that time.
That's what happens when you play hard to get and keep your country virtually closed off for decades. Everyone wants you, and they won't take no for an answer. As far as tourism goes, this is a land of opportunity. There is a lot of money to be made here, and with potential for profit comes concern about corruption and
I
cronyism.
think politics is always a dirty game. Yeah, can be fair for someone, can be dirty for some other people too. So, but obviously we are leading to, a good way, good democracy. So we can't go back to the worst time, the worst situation. So everybody is trying to do the best thing for themselves, for the country.
It's a learning process, literally, at the Inle Heritage House. A charmingly strange combination of cat sanctuary, guest house, and tourism training school. Not what you'd expect, but somehow just right.
Tourism is really booming now.
It is. If you look at the number of the tourists, in 2010, less than 1 million tourists in the whole country. But last year it was existing like 3 million. So in the very little period of time, the number grows that way. As well as on the number of the rooms as well. Only in Inle area, there were only 1,200 rooms in 2010. Now it is about 2,500.
Is this good for your country?
In general, I would say yes. But for Inle, probably we have to be really careful what we're doing, because the lake is really rich in its biodiversity, and for the time being we have a lot of challenges with the environmental conditions, biodiversities, etc. So the development, I would say, is good for the job opportunity and so on. However, if we do not manage well, the loss will be tremendous in the long term.
It's a coming of age for Myanmar, like when your child leaves home for the very first time. Suddenly, the whole world is at their feet. What will they do with it?
Life is getting tough. So a lot of people, they lose their morality and character. The gap is getting bigger. For a lot of people, their wealth is really, really, growing a lot. And for a lot of people, their life is really...
Before there was freedom of expression, before Aung San Suu Kyi was released, before, when there were sanctions by other countries, that life was maybe not as good. Is that the case?
It may be true, and we could say these are the positive changes on the media release, and you have a freedom of expression and etc. But there are some rumors and also some jokes about that. Before you couldn't say anything. If you did so, you put in jail or something like that.
Yeah.
Now you are allowed to say anything,
Yes.
and the government don't care anything.
They don't care about anything now.
Of course, this country is no adolescent. Its history is long and rich, especially in Bagan, the ancient capital. No skyscrapers here, just temples as far as the eye can see. By some accounts, there were once 10,000 of these Buddhist shrines dotting the landscape. Today, it's dwindled to about 2,200. Still, it's as awe-inspiring and humbling as its Cambodian cousin, Angkor Wat, but with far fewer selfies. Well, tranquility can only last so long, right? I told you, getting around Myanmar takes patience and cash.
So it's raining again, and the motorcycle is broken. So I just paid 5,000 chat, which is $5 to get it fixed. So we're just waiting out the rain and the broken down motorcycle.
To an outsider enjoying a lovely evening concert in the park, perhaps life doesn't seem that different. But to those who live and work here, like Lynn, who owns the off-the-beaten-track Backpacker Cafe, this is a whole new ballgame.
Things have changed. A lot of positive changes, but at the same time, as we are going through the transitional period, you face a lot of challenges as well. To quote Chairman Moore, when you open the window, comes in the breeze as well as the flies and dust. So as we open up more to receive more tourists, we get some weird tourists with, weird sense of interest, like child, sex tourism and stuff like that. So hopefully the local communities are well informed of, said incidents.
Inviting people to your home is always a toss of the dice. They may bring you gifts, but they might also be stealing things from your medicine cabinet.
Whoa!
Rangoon Reggae, Burma Bob, Myanmar Marley. Maybe it's the irresistible way you can mix and match the names with the music. Or maybe the offbeat rhythm is just the right soundtrack for Myanmar's rebirth. Sapo Kwar had never heard of reggae until a friend gave him a Bob Marley CD, and that was all it took for him to get up, stand up, and start writing his own songs.
So Bob Marley made you feel free?
Yeah, of course.
What does being free mean to you?
I believe I liked freedom since I was born, but the country wasn't free. We are prohibited from doing things. Don't do that, don't do this. But when I listened to those songs, I felt free.
Were you able to write any kind of lyrics, or did you have to get them approved?
We used to have censorship for everything, cartoons, magazines, even songs. But as of a year ago, there was no more censorship. On my first album, 3 songs were rejected at that time, but now I might use them on my new album.
More foreigners are learning more about your country. What do you want them to know about Myanmar?
Half of the citizens here are not happy. The life here is quite difficult. Is that because of the mismanagement of the government? Or maybe because the citizens don't follow the rules? I don't want to tell foreigners who is right and who is wrong. I'd prefer for the foreigners to find out for themselves.
How would you characterize the Myanmar people?
I have a song called Love Our Country, Love Myanmar. It describes Burmese people, Myanmar people, as beautiful people, loving people. At the moment there are some bad things, but I am proud of being from Myanmar.
They are proud of their beautiful country and under no illusions about its ugly side, ready for a new era and cautious about what it will bring.
Minkanjo. I'm Sophie.
This country is entering a new phase of life.
Sunday, Monday, Tuesday.
Okay. Thursday.
That's it. Okay.
While the old superstitions persist.
47, 46.
1974. Not born in 47, 74.
Along with a healthy dose of skepticism about just how far their new freedoms will stretch. This is not, nor will it be, a seamless, easy transition, but a few years ago, a gathering like this would have been unthinkable, cheering on Myanmar's national soccer team against rival Thailand in the Southeast Asia Games. It's a testament to the people of this nation. They've weathered decades of a military dictatorship, and now they'll navigate this new democracy. Like the national pastime Chinlone, whose objective is to keep the ball in play, they keep the hope of freedom and prosperity in play, and when they drop the ball, they just pick it up and start the game all over again.
Last one is, sir. May you be well done, well done, well done.
May you be well done?
Yeah.
May you be well done, well done, well done.
Do's and don'ts for tourists. This is us. Myanmar people are friendly, helpful, and polite. This is true. Don't take photos of people bathing. Don't point with your foot. No. Wear decent clothes when visiting religious sites. Don't wear that. Actually, don't wear that ever. Don't kiss in public. Take it to a hotel room. Oh, women travelers are very safe in Myanmar. Don't put candy on a fishing line and then dangle it in front of children. It's not advisable. Don't do drugs, only dopes do dope. Always practice safe sex, whether you're in Myanmar or anywhere else. Cover it up, kids. And enjoy your holiday. Thanks, Myanmar.